So welcome to the class, students. I hope all of you are doing good. So in today's class we are going to discuss about the respiratory system. We have already seen respiration in our previous class. हमने पहले ही देख लिया है कि respiration क्या होता है. Yes, we have also seen respiration in plants. Yes, in details we have studied all this thing. आज हम पढ़ने वाले हैं respiratory system and that too specifically in case of humans. Okay. So if I talk about the respiratory system, we know that the different organisms, yeah, or different animals, I will say, they have a different modes of respiration also, isn't it? Like if I'm talking about amoeba, यदि हम amoeba की बात करते हैं जो कि एक unicellular organism है, which is having a single cell organism, in it how the respiration takes place. Yes, because it is a single cell, the respiration takes place directly through the cell membrane. उनमें कोई भी रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम नहीं रहेगा, कोई ऑर्गन्स नहीं रहेगा, स्पेसिफिक ऑर्गन नहीं रहेगा जिससे रेस्पिरेशन होगा, क्योंकि वो एक ही सेल का बना हुआ ऑर्गेनिज्म है. सो डेफिनेटली द रेस्पिरेशन इज डन बाय द cell membrane, is through the cell membrane. Similarly, if I talk about earthworm, यदि हम earthworm की बात करते हैं तो we have seen that in the earthworm the respiratory organ there, it is the skin and it respires through the skin. If we talk about the frog amphibian है, so it breathes by the lungs as well as skin. Yeah. If we talk about the aquatic animals, yes, the aquatic animals, what they have gills. Yes, they respire through gills. Similarly, the cockroach or housefly, mosquitoes, just like insects, if I say, insects, they have, as a respiratory organ, we can say that they have a tiny holes which are called as what? Spiracles. Yes, as well as they have some air tubes, what we call them as a trachea. They serve as the respiratory organ in them. So in this way I can say that different organisms, they have different animals, they have a different modes of respiration. यदि हम ह्यूमन की बात करें, यदि हम टेरेस्ट्रियल एनिमल्स की बात करें, जिसमें ह्यूमन भी आ जाएगा, so here the respiratory organ is what? It is lung, isn't it? But in case of human, if I am talking only, is lung is only responsible? No, there is a complete system is there. Yes, there are different things or the different parts there which are combining, एक साथ मिल रहे हैं, and they are forming the respiratory system there. So we will discuss about that. So we know that the organs together, they form a respiratory system, and that system is there which provides the oxygen to the cell, yes, of the body, and from that cell it also removes the carbon dioxide outside the body, yeah, through the, we can say in this case, who is the center? It is the lungs, yeah. So this oxygen which is taken in during the respiration, हमने पढ़ लिया है कि what is respiration. So now I am not going to tell you about what is respiration in detail, what does this oxygen is doing. You all know that whatever oxygen we are taking during the respiration, जो respiration में हम oxygen ले रहे हैं, it is used for producing energy from the food. Yeah, because we know that what is respiration? It is a process by which the assimilated food is oxidized, and from that the energy is obtained. Yes, energy is released. That is nothing but we say that it is respiration, isn't it? So come on, we will discuss the respiratory system in humans. Yeah. So यदि हम respiratory system की बात करें humans में, we all know that it starts from where? कहाँ से हम श्वास लेते हैं? हम सांस लेते हैं through our nose, isn't it? So it starts through the, or it consists of nose, I can say. The nose, it will show this two nostrils, nasal chamber is there. Then what will be there? Then there is a pharynx, larynx, trachea, bronchi, yes, lungs, और लंग्स में ब्रोंकाई के बाद में आपका आएगा एल्वियोला. इस तरह से ये पूरा मिला के आपका बन जाता है रेस्पिरेटरी सिस्टम. ओके, सो इन दिस इफ आई टॉक अबाउट फर्स्ट, यदि हम सबसे पहले बात करते हैं, लुक स्टूडेंट्स, आई एम नॉट राइटिंग टू मच ऑफ थिंग्स, या मैं कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट चीज़ें लिखूंगी. यू कैन नोट इट डाउन वट एवर आई एम सेइंग, or else you can also download the Arth Academy app where you will get the notes also in detail. Okay. So if I'm talking about the respiratory system there, I will say that it starts from nose. Yes. Can we say that? It starts from the nose. So this external part of the nose. Yeah. This is the nose, and this external part that I am showing you, this is what we call as a nostrils. So nostrils, I can say that it is the first part of respiratory system. Yes, it has nostrils, which we can say it is the first part of respiratory system. बोल सकते हैं? Yes, through this nostril, what is there? Air is taken inside. Yes. Now these two nostrils, they are separated. Yes, through these nostrils we can say, yes, the two nostrils, they are separated by what? It is separated by a septum, or cartilaginous septum is there. है ना? And inside it, what is there? There are some fine hairs. Yes, which are present. We know what is the role of this hair. ये hair जो छोटे छोटे hair present रहेंगे नाक के अंदर, उसका काम क्या है? दे आर फिल्टरिंग द एयर, इजंट इट? दे आर जस्ट लाइक अ फिल्टर. जो लार्जर पार्टिकल्स जो अंदर से बाहर जाने की कोशिश करेंगे, डस्ट पार्टिकल्स, यस, इट विल फिल्टर देम आउट. It will not allow them, isn't it? So in this way the filtration takes place through the fine hair which are present there. After that, students, as the air enters through the nostril, then you can see here that this is a nasal cavity, or you can also call it as a nasal chamber, है ना? या फिर बहुत बार उसको nasal passage भी बोलते हैं. It is one and the same. So this two nostrils, it opens into a pair of nasal chambers. Okay, now this cavity, yeah, this nasal cavity, students, it is separated from the oral cavity. You can see this is the oral cavity. Yes, ये हमारा मुंह है. The oral cavity and this nasal cavity, this both are separated by a palate. Yes, remember, they are separated by hard and bony palate. It is hard and bony. सो इट इज इन बिटवीन. ये पैलेट ये दोनों कैविटी के बीच में, या इन दोनों कैविटी को सेपरेट करने में मदद कौन कर रहा है? इट इज योर पैलेट देयर. गॉट इट स्टूडेंट्स? नाउ दिस नेजल पैसेज इज कंडक्टिंग जोन ऑफ द एयर, वी कैन से. या एयर के लिए जो कंडक्टिंग जोन है, दैट इज दिस पैसेज, द नेजल पैसेज. In this nasal passage also there are fine hairs as well as mucus. इनका भी काम सेम है, that it is what it is doing, it is entrapping the dust particles, है ना? एंड द म्यूकस क्या करेगा? म्यूकस एक तरह से मॉइस्चर रखेगा, ल्यूब्रिकेशन करेगा. इट ऑल्सो एंट्रैप्स द dust particles with that. Got it, students? Now the inner lining of this nasal chamber, it is made up of ciliated columnar epithelium. Yes, the nose, it has nostrils. Then after that we can say that it comes your nasal chamber or nasal cavity, है ना? It is also having what? It is also having hair and mucus. Yes, whose role is to entrap the dust particle. Yes, you can also say that this nasal passage, we can write here that nasal passages or nasal cavity was conducting zone for air. The conducting zone for air. अब ये जो नेजल चेम्बर से बना है, नेजल चेम्बर किससे बना है? सेल से. कौन सा सेल है? कॉलम्नर एपिथेलियल सेल्स. यस, ये सेल्स क्या फंक्शंस करते हैं? दे विल परफॉर्म सम फंक्शंस लाइक द म्यूकस विच इज प्रेजेंट. म्यूकस क्या करेगा? इट विल एंट्रैप द हार्मफुल पार्टिकल्स, है ना? सिमिलरली this mucus also moisture the air. Yeah. And one more important thing, that it brings about the warming of air. So what is this mucus and hair they are doing? I can say they are responsible for, we can write here with some different pen, warming, I can say. Yes, warming of air. जो हवा अंदर जा रही है उसमें वार्मथ लाएगा. Then also it adds, I can say, the moisture there. Yes, it adds moisture to air. और थर्ड चीज करेगा, it entraps the harmful particles. ये फंक्शंस है किसके, ये फंक्शन है जो सेल्स प्रेजेंट है एंड द सेल्स विच आर हैविंग दिस म्यूकस. Got it, students? Now this was about the nasal cavity or the nasal chamber. After that, what is there? Yeah, that is one more thing that we can say that the point that why we generally say that we should breathe through our nose. हमने नाक से ही सांस लेनी चाहिए. You should not use your mouth to breathe. बोलते हैं ना मुंह खुला रख के सांस नहीं लेनी चाहिए. Always your mouth should be closed and the breathing should be through the air. The reason, because this nasal chamber, yes, the nostrils, they are having something to filter that air. हवा को फिल्टर कर रहा है ना, डस्ट पार्टिकल्स को पकड़ के रख रहा है, उसको वहीं वहीं पे अटका दे रहा है, बाहर निकाल रहा है. इट इज अलाउिंग जस्ट a good air, a fresh air which is having very less foreign particles, we can say, yes, which is going inside. But यदि हम मुंह से श्वास लेंगे तो मुंह में ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है that it will entrap the harmful particles. So that is always suggested that we should breathe through our nose and not through the mouth. Got it, students? Now, if I talk about nose, nose is useful for the breathing, that is very true. But one more function is there, or nose, if I am saying, it is also a sensory organ. आप सभी को पता है, one of the sensory organ is nose also. So nose क्या करता है? Nose sense क्या करता है? Smell को sense करता है. Isn't it? The cells of the smell, they are present in a special pocket in a nasal chamber. Nasal chamber में या फिर nasal cavity में एक special pocket है, उसमें smell के cells present रहते हैं. They are responsible to detect the smell of the things. That's why the nose is also a sensory organ, isn't it? After nose, students, you can say, as the air enters this nasal cavity, nasal chamber, after that you can see it comes where, वो कहाँ आता है? Pharynx में. Yes. So after that we can write there is pharynx. Now what is the role of this pharynx? Yeah, this pharynx, it is actually situated at the back of the mouth. हमारा जो मुंह है इसके यहाँ पीछे की साइड में, yes, it is present at the back of the mouth. And again remember a very important thing, pharynx, it is a common part between the alimentary canal and respiratory system. Common part between alimentary canal and respiratory system. That means हम बोल सकते हैं it is a common passage for air as well as food, isn't it? Now this nasal cavity, it opens in the pharynx, and from pharynx the air passes through, yes, it passes into this opening which is called as a larynx. Yes, इस तरह से ये यहाँ से यहाँ जाएगा. This is what is called as a larynx. After pharynx, it is your larynx. Larynx is also called as voice box. उसको हम voice box भी बोलते हैं. और you can also say the Adam apple. You must be knowing, है ना? आपने ये पढ़ा होगा definitely. So the larynx is a hollow cartilaginous structure which is definitely located at the start of the windpipe. जो आपका windpipe है उसके start में ही आपको ये larynx मिलेगा. Okay? Larynx, students, it connects the pharynx with the trachea. एक्चुअली ये कनेक्टिंग पॉइंट है. ये pharynx को किसके साथ से जोड़ेगा? उसको जोड़ेगा ट्रकिया के साथ में. Got it? So we can say that in another word we can, हम इसको ये भी बोल सकते कि larynx is nothing but it is enlarged part. Yes, can we say that it is enlarged part of trachea? Yes. So this larynx is an enlarged part of trachea. Remember. Now you can see here आपने यहाँ ये दिख रहा है कुछ epiglottis. Now what is this epiglottis? The laryngeal opening It is called as epiglottis. Can you see this opening? I'll show you with this color. You can see this flap, like this is the part. This is nothing but the, what can we say, that this is the ear. In this way the larynx opens into the pharynx. This is the pharynx और ये यहाँ से ये larynx open हो रहा है और ये जो part है आपका, yes, this is nothing but the epiglottis. So what is the role of epiglottis? Actually the laryngeal opening को हम बोलेंगे glottis और वहाँ पर there is a thin elastic cartilaginous flap, एक flap जैसा रहेगा. Yes, and that flap, which is the cartilaginous thin elastic flap, this is called as epiglottis. What is the role of epiglottis? We can say that this epiglottis, what it is doing? Yes, it covers the glottis and prevent the entry of food into the larynx. जैसे ही मैंने बताया कि pharynx क्या है, common part है आपका passage of air और food का, है ना. सो पॉसिबल है कि यहाँ से फूड अंदर चला जाए. विंड पाइप में यदि वहां चला जाएगा तो विंड पाइप में जाएगा. वी नो दैट मेनी टाइम्स बाय एक्सीडेंटली इट हैपेंस ना दैट some part of food or water, it enters into the windpipe. So what happens? We say that it is like that. Thaska baithta hai. Yes, it tries to throw out that food from that. So that's why, to prevent this, there is this flap is there, which is called as a epiglottis. Okay. So what is this epiglottis doing? Epiglottis, it prevents the entry of food, yes, into the larynx. And it covers, how it is doing it, by covering the glottis. Glottis क्या है? Glottis larynx की opening है. Glottis is a laryngeal opening. Remember this thing also. I hope this is clear about the larynx. One more thing about the larynx, students. Larynx also have vocal cords, है ना? From where the sound produces, isn't it? So the vocal cords, we know they are just like this. You must be knowing, ये आपने पढ़ा होगा क्लास में. तो vocal cords क्या करते हैं? They vibrates when the air pass through that. Yes, this vocal cords, they will vibrate, and because of this vibration the sound is produced, isn't it? So sound is produced, the sound that is produced by the vocal cord, that is called as nothing but a voice. Can I write like this? Sound produced by vocal cord. They can ask you, what is it called? उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? It is called as voice. Remember this. Okay. Now I think this much is clear. We have started with nose. हमने nose से शुरू किया. It is having nostrils and nasal chamber. Then the air passes from the nasal chamber into the pharynx. From pharynx it is going to the larynx, and then after larynx I will say that we have to move for the next one, that is your trachea. Can you see here? You can see nasal cavity, pharynx, larynx. This we have done. Now it comes your trachea. अब trachea में यदि बात आ रही है, so what is there in the trachea? You can see this is what is the trachea. Tube like structure, isn't it? So the air from the pharynx, जो हवा pharynx में pass हो रही है, it is going to enter into the trachea. If I am talking about this trachea, it is, I can say इसको हम windpipe भी बोलते हैं. You can also call it as a windpipe in a very simple way, है ना? It is 10 to 12 centimeter long tube जैसा, like we have esophagus there, isn't it, when the food enters. Similarly, here it is trachea. Yeah, that is a food pipe, esophagus. So trachea, it is a windpipe. So this windpipe is also 10 to 12 centimeter long, students. Wall of the trachea are strengthened by 16 to 20 shaped cartilaginous ring. You can see the cartilaginous structures are there. कुछ rings रहे, cartilaginous rings रहती है. So there are 16 to 20 C-shaped cartilaginous ring. What is the role of this ring? ये ring का काम क्या है? This rings keep the trachea flexible and distended permanently. ये ना एक तो उसको flexible बना के रखेगा और उसको distend करके रखेगा. उसको हमेशा स्ट्रेट करके रखेगा, खुला रखेगा, सो दैट व्हाट हैपेंस व्हेन द एयर इज नॉट देयर, है ना, तो ट्रकिया कोलैप्स नहीं होना चाहिए. दैट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. या सो दैट इज the main thing which is there in the trachea. So I will write because that is important. It has, or wall of trachea, we will write there, wall of trachea have 16 to 20 C-shaped cartilaginous rings, yes, which keeps trachea flexible and distended permanently. Why am I writing permanently? क्यों लिख रही हूँ permanently? क्योंकि जब when there is no air, students, in the trachea, जब trachea में हवा नहीं रहेगी, the trachea will not collapse. Yes. Why? Because these cartilaginous rings are there, and these rings are made of the soft bones. Okay. So this helps. I can write this, or this keeps trachea not to collapse when no air in it. I hope this is clear. यहाँ तक समझ में आया. After trachea, you can see, students, this trachea now it is dividing into two. Yes, यहाँ से ये tracheal tube है, दो में divide हो रहा है, and this both are entering in each of the lungs. So this trachea divides into bronchi. उसको हम क्या बोलेंगे? उसको हम बोलेंगे bronchi. So the trachea divides into smaller tubes as left and right bronchi, and it is there in the thoracic cavity. है ना? We know that the lungs are there in the thoracic cavity. So it is dividing into right bronchi as well as left bronchi. Now the प्राइमरी, ये जो सबसे पहले जो राइट और लेफ्ट ब्रोंका में डिवाइड होगा, द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ दैट ब्रोंका, इट इज कॉल्ड एज अ प्राइमरी ब्रोंका. या सो ट्रकिया ब्रोंका क्या हो रहा है? ब्रोंकिया इज डिवाइडिंग इनटू लेफ्ट एंड राइट ब्रोंकस. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल लेफ्ट ब्रोंका एंड राइट वन. यस. Now this left bronchi, first part, it is your primary bronchi. Then similarly here also, यहाँ पे भी primary रहेगा. Now this primary bronchi, it enters the lungs. जैसे ही lungs में अंदर आएगा, ये देखो primary bronchi, it enters the lungs. Then it will subdivide again. Yes, it subdivides into secondary bronchi. Yes, और उसी के बाद में secondary के बाद में tertiary. In both the lungs. Yes, so they are subdividing into secondary bronchi and the tertiary bronchi. So this bronchioles, I can say, yeah, the tertiary bronchi are then again subdivided to more smaller tubes, और उसको हम बोलेंगे bronchioles. Okay, देखो यहाँ पर आप देख सकते हो, this is primary. Then this is the secondary. Which is the secondary? You can see here the primary has entered and now it is dividing. Yes, it is dividing into this. So these are the secondary bronchi, and when this secondary bronchi और ज़्यादा divide हो रहा है, देखो अब यहाँ से ये division हो रहा है. Yes, यहाँ से और ये division हो रहा है. So this is what is, it is dividing into tertiary bronchus. And tertiary bronchus, even they divide more further there. And what are they called? उसको हम बोलेंगे bronchioles. Yes, they are called as bronchioles. I think this is very much clear to all of you. यहाँ तक समझ में आ रहा है? Yeah. Now this bronchioles, they terminate into tiny air chamber. ये जो bronchioles है, आप देखो, ये bronchioles किस में terminate होगा? Tiny chamber, जिसको हम बोलेंगे what? Alveoli. Isn't it? So it terminates into tiny air chambers as air sacs, or you can say alveolar sac. Yeah. So this bronch, I hope this is clear. किस तरह से हो रहा है कितने, you can see that how much smaller and smaller part this trachea is after one subdividing it, and that at last the alveolar sac, or the, we can say, the air sacs will be there, isn't it? And जो आपका air का exchange हो रहा है, the exchange of gases, it takes place from here only, from the alveoli. ये छोटे छोटे जो alveoli sag रहेंगे, because they are again associated, और जहाँ से capillaries pass हो रही है. You know, in the digestion we have seen, when we were going doing the absorption, जब हम absorption part कर रहे थे, हमने देखा था कि जब absorb होता है food या water, किसके थ्रू होता है? Microvilli, or the villi there, isn't it? Villi which are present in the intestine. अब ये विलाय के एसोसिएटेड, विलाय के साथ में कौन अटैच रहता है? ऑन द अदर एंड देयर इज अ capillaries. Yes, complete capillary networks will be there. Similarly, here also it is just like that. You can see here, this is the capillaries, this is an alveoli. Yes, suppose ये alveoli रहेगा ऐसा sac like, and this will be surrounded in this way. It is associated, यहाँ से ये capillaries इस तरह से pass होती है. Yes, so the exchange of gases, whatever it is taking place, it will take place here. इन्हीं के बीच में होता है. So I hope this is clear. Yeah. Now this bronchi, students, one more thing remember, the bronchi also have cartilaginous ring. Bronchi के पास भी rings रहती है, cartilage की rings रहती है, so that the bronchus can also be remain distended. It is there with the bronchi, but remember again an important point, bronchioles, they will not have this cartilaginous ring. Just you can note it down, up लिख लो. Trachea, it has a cartilaginous ring. The bronchi also have cartilaginous ring. The function is same, but the bronchioles, they do not have cartilaginous ring. Got it? So after bronchioles, I will go with an alveoli. Again, I am saying I am not giving everything in detail there. मैं लिख के नहीं दे रही हूँ. I am just writing the main point. You just listen carefully. If you want, you can write it down when you are watching this lecture second time, or you can also download the Arth Academy app, where you will also get detailed notes on all these things. Okay. Okay. Now if I am talking about the alveoli, alveoli are just like this, as I told you, it is a balloon shaped or balloon like structure inside the lungs. Yes, I will write there, or just a minute. It is becoming very, yeah. Yeah, if I am talking about alveoli, it is what it is, balloon like structure in lungs. Yes, and there are millions of alveoli, बहुत सारे alveolus रहेंगे. Okay, their wall, the wall of alveoli, it is moist, students, and it is very thin. क्यों thin है? क्योंकि मैंने कहा कि exchange of gases वहाँ से होगा, है ना? So diffusion हम बोलेंगे उसको. So exchange of gases होने के लिए जो wall of alveoli रहेगी, it is very thin. Yeah. So the wall of alveoli is moist. Wall is moist and thin, so that the diffusion of gases can take place properly. Then there is a network of blood capillary. Network of blood capillary, it surrounds it. It surrounds the wall of alveoli. जैसे मैंने आपको यहाँ पे दिखाया है, दिस इज द alveolus, और ये आपका capillaries है. Yes, which are surrounding and which is allowing the exchange of the gases. Yes, so the large number of alveoli, it increases what? It increases the surface area for the exchange of gases. This is a very important point. You can write it down. Large number of alveoli increases surface area for gaseous exchange. ओके नाउ एज मैं जैसे मैंने बताया कि वॉल ऑफ एल्वियोला इज मॉइस्ट. थिन क्यों है वो तो मैंने बता दिया. मॉइस्ट कैसे है? बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रेजेंस ऑफ म्यूकस ऑल्सो. म्यूकस है ना, म्यूकस एल्वियोला के अंदर में भी रहेगा. यस, द वॉल इट विल ऑल्सो हैव द म्यूकस which is present on a alveolar surface. क्या यूज है म्यूकस का? सेम थिंग. Here also the mucus is there to avoid the dryness first of all of the surface, as well as it is there to trap the dust particles. Some pathogens, you can write it down if you want. Mucus present, this is important, yes, on alveolar surface keeps it moist, है ना. That means it is avoiding the its dryness and traps the dust particles or some pathogens if it is entering with that, है ना, उनको रोक लेगा. इस तरह से it will helping, it helps the or it makes the air more and more pure there, isn't it? Now, remember students, if all alveoli from the two lungs, आपको मैंने बताया ना कि alveoli are in millions of number, बहुत सारे हैं, because there will be so many, जितना जितना network कितना divide हो रहा है ना, it is subdividing in that way. So if you see, if all the alveoli from the two lungs are unfolded, सारे alveoli को खोल देंगे हम, if they are unfolded, they would give an area of 80 square meter. Just you can note it down. This is again a very interesting thing, that if all the alveoli from the two lungs, दोनों lungs के सारे alveoli को हम यदि unfold कर देंगे, oh sorry, not two alveoli, it is two lungs. If they are unfolded, yes, then they would give an area of 80 स्क्वायर मीटर. ये क्या कितना 80 स्क्वायर मीटर यानी कितना होता है पता है? इट इज नियरली द साइज ऑफ अ टेनिस कोर्ट. आपने देखा है टेनिस मैच? यू मस्ट हैव सीन देयर, इजंट इट? So you know what is the size of a tennis court. At least if you don't know with the measure, you have seen that. Yes, उतना बड़ा area हो जाएगा if all the alveoli are unfolded. So you can imagine how many alveoli would be there in number. Yes, so many, millions of them. Got it? So this was the alveoli which is responsible, or which is mainly responsible for the exchange of gases, जहाँ से gases का exchange होता है. मैं आपको ये डिटेल में समझाऊंगी ये किस तरह से होता है when we will discuss the mechanism in the next class. नेक्स्ट क्लास में हम respiration के mechanism पढ़ेंगे कि किस तरह से how our body is taking the air inside. That means what is inhalation, exhalation क्या होता है, how the exchange of gases are taking place, what is the role of diaphragm, what is the role of ribs in respiration. ये सारी चीजें in detail definitely we are going to discuss in the next class. आज हम लोग सिर्फ parts के बारे में पढ़ रहे हैं, है ना. Now remember one more thing, यदि हम alveoli के बारे में भी जा रहे हैं, so I will continue one more thing here students. The mucus which is present in the alveoli, it must be removed time to time also. Listen carefully, I am discussing an important point with you. मैंने बताया कि म्यूकस प्रेजेंट है एल्वियोलाई में. जस्ट अ मिनट. Yes. Now this mucus must also be removed there time to time from this alveoli. Why? Ma'am, you have just told that mucus is important. It is keeping the surface moist. It is helping to remove or trap the pathogen or the dust particle. Then why it should be removed time to time? Actually, it should be removed time to time because if the amount of mucus increases, yes, then the tension of area, the tension of alveoli will also increase, and that makes difficult in breathing. ओके, यू मस्ट हैव सीन, जब हमको किसी को रेस्पिरेटरी डिजीज होती है, रेस्पिरेटरी प्रॉब्लम होता है, एंड दे से दैट द इन द लंग्स जो हमारा कफ भर जाता है जिसको हम बोलेंगे, या बहुत बार व्हेन द लंग्स आर कंप्लीटली इन्फेक्टेड, व्हाट इज देयर, देयर इज प्रेजेंस ऑफ मोर अमाउंट ऑफ म्यूकस. म्यूकस बहुत ज्यादा बढ़ जाता है वहां पे, तो उसके कारण क्या होता है, देयर इज अ ब्रीदिंग प्रॉब्लम. एक तो एक्सचेंज में प्रॉब्लम होगा, एम आई राइट, एज वेल एज क्या करेगा, जितना ज्यादा रहेगा इट विल इंक्रीज द टेंशन ऑफ दैट एल्वियोलाई एंड दिस विल इंक्रीज और इट विल मेक द डिफिकल्टी इन द ब्रीदिंग. Okay, so this mucus should always be removed. So I will write it down that you should note this thing. Mucus in alveoli, yes, have to be removed time to time as it increases or it, just a minute, if it is increases I will write as, if it is increases, then what will happen, the tension of alveoli also increases and makes breathing difficult. Yes, this is a reason. अब वो remove कैसे होगा? Yes, so this mucus is removed. This mucus is removed by, remember students, it is removed by type 2 alveolar cell. टाइप 2 alveolar cells रहते हैं जो कहाँ रहते हैं, दे आर प्रेजेंट इन द alveoli ओनली. यस, प्रेजेंट ऑन alveoli, alveoli में रहेंगे ये सेल, और ये सेल म्यूकस को रिमूव करने का काम करते हैं. कैसे रिमूव करेंगे, दे विल रिलीज सर्फेक्टेंट्स. ये सर्फेक्टेंट्स रिलीज करके दे विल हेल्प टू रिमूव द mucus. I hope now this is very much clear all of you. Yeah. Now with this also the stereocilia are also present. Like जैसे मैं आपको बताऊँ, suppose यदि हम देखें कि for example if it is an alveoli, okay, suppose this is an alveolus, एक alveoli, okay, so यहाँ पर here in this there will be some cells. Suppose these are the alveolar cells. तो ये जो cells रहेंगे ना, these cells, they are responsible to remove the mucus. जो mucus जैसे हम बता सकते हैं, I can show you with a yellow color. Yeah, if the mucus increases, ये जितना ज़्यादा हो जाएगा ना, so it can increase the tension there, and it is removed by this alveolar cell. With the students, this mucus can also be thrown out. इस तरह से भी बाहर निकाला जाता है. कौन करेगा? Who is responsible for that? There are some stereocilia. Stereocilia इस तरह से रहते हैं, alveolar ये इस तरह से. So what are they doing? They are throwing this out. यस, एल्वियोलर ट्रैक्ट में जो स्टीरियोसीलियाज रहते हैं, they also remove the mucus by their upward movement. Yes, it also removes the mucus by upward movement. Got it? ये ऐसे ऊपर ऊपर जाएंगे and जैसे जाएंगे they will also take the mucus outside. Okay. So remember this is a very important to note it down. यदि आपको अभी नहीं आया है पढ़ने में, so this will help you in your higher grades if you are continuing with the biology as a subject, isn't it? Come on. Now this was about the alveoli. After this, so here this is done. बट आई वुड लाइक टू ऐड, हम और कुछ पढ़ेंगे, कुछ और मैं ऐड करना चाहूँगी. एक है आपका रिब्स. जैसे कि आई टोल्ड यू दैट द रिब्स आर ऑल्सो देयर. जस्ट अ मिनट स्टूडेंट्स. Okay, we'll come here only. As I was saying that the ribs are also there. There are 12 pairs of ribs. Yes, 12 pairs of bony ribs are there. I will note it down or I will write it down. If I am talking about ribs, 12 pairs of bones, they form a cage in the thoracic cavity. We know the ribs are there, है ना? तो कितने pairs रहेंगे? 12 pairs. The lungs and the heart both are placed in the रिब केज. रिब केज के अंदर, इसीलिए हम उसको केज बोल रहे हैं. वो हमारे लंग और हार्ट दोनों को प्रोटेक्ट करता है. ऑल्सो इन दिस रिब देर आर इंटरकोस्टल मसल्स. रिब्स में कौन से मसल्स होते हैं? इंटरकोस्टल मसल्स. ये सारा आई एम नॉट राइटिंग हियर बिकॉज वी विल डिस्कस ऑल दिस थिंग इन अवर नेक्स्ट क्लास. Intercostal muscles, they are attached to the ribs, and these muscles they help in breathing. Yes, they will help in breathing. Got it? इसके बाद में the next is your diaphragm. Now diaphragm जो कि नीचे की साइड में आता है, it forms the floor, I can say. So the diaphragm is nothing but it is sheet of muscles below the lungs. Yes, it forms the base of a chest cavity. Base of chest cavity. Diaphragm क्या करता है? It separates the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity because it is present between them. Thoracic और abdominal के बीच में रहता है. That's why we can say that it is separating the thoracic cavity and the abdominal cavity. It's similar. The palate, it was separating the oral cavity and the nasal cavity, isn't it? Similarly, in this way here the diaphragm is there. Now, diaphragm also helps in respiration. It is playing a very important role. रेस्पिरेशन में जब हम इनहेलेशन एक्सहेलेशन करते हैं, यहाँ पर आपको ये इंटरकोस्टल मसल्स और डायफ्राम, इनके मूवमेंट से इनहेलेशन एंड एक्सहेलेशन होता है. We will discuss very interesting facts when we will discuss when we will see in the next class the mechanism of respiration. Believe me students, you will enjoy that class. Okay, so don't miss that. Now after that, the last and the main part that we will discuss, it is nothing but the lungs, है ना? अब lungs ही तो, it is a primary organ for respiration. Am I right? Lungs are the primary organ for respiration. I can write here. If I am talking about the lungs, primary organ for respiration. Yeah. Now these are two. Though are lungs. Yes, there are two lungs. They are two lightweight spongy pouches, definitely, which is enclosed by a protective membrane. और वो membrane को हम बोलते हैं जो lungs के बाहर की side में, it is called as a pleura. Okay. So the pleura are inner visceral pleura. The pleura, it will be there again, it will be divided as inner and the outer. So inner will be the visceral pleura and outer will be the parietal pleura. Between these two, I can write, or I will write it down. It is surrounded by protective membrane, what is it? प्लूरा. ओके, यदि मैं प्लूरा की बात करूं जो एक रहेगा इनर पार्ट और एक रहेगा आउटर पार्ट. ये जो इनर पार्ट रहे, yes, it is the visceral pleura. It is called as what? Visceral. And the outer part it is called as parietal. और ये दोनों के बीच में, the visceral and the parietal, in between this there is a fluid. Yes, in a cavity called as pleural cavity. Yes, in between them, between this pleural cavity is present having what? Pleural fluid. है ना, जैसे सेरिब्रोस्पाइनल फ्लूइड है हमारे, यदि हम ब्रेन की बात करते हैं, so it is protecting our brain there, isn't it? Similarly, outside the lungs there will be a pleural cavity. Yes, heart के बाहर venopericardium is there. Yeah, so in that way remember this pleural cavity, it is having a fluid which is a pleural fluid. Pleural fluid का काम क्या है? What is its role? It is used for the lubrication, है ना, during the expanding and contracting of lungs. Got it? So ये आपको याद रखना है about the lungs. Now one more thing you remember, lungs के अंदर और क्या है? The lungs we have already discussed that the bronchi, the bronchioles, then the alveolar sac or the alveoli, they are all present in the lungs, in each of the lungs, है ना. So thus we can say in the lungs the transport of oxygen and the carbon dioxide is taking place. Exactly कहाँ होता है? We have seen वो alveolar में होता है. Now one more important thing you should remember, the left lung has two lobes. You can write it down. This is also important to remember that the left lung has two lobes, students, and right lung have three lobes. इससे क्या पता चलता है? What you can see there or what can you think about it now? It is having, left is having only two and right is having three. That's why we can say the left lung, thus the left lung is slightly smaller than right lung. Got it? Very informative thing, है ना. अब क्यों यहाँ पर दो ही लोब है और क्यों वहां पर तीन लोब है? There is again an interesting thing there, because left side what is there? We also know that the heart is also there. So the left lung is slightly smaller than the right lung because it has to accommodate the heart in between. दोनों के बीच में heart को भी रखना है हमको, इसलिए left वाला थोड़ा सा छोटा है, so that the heart can come slightly towards that. Yes, and this is the reason. Isn't that interesting thing that I told you? Yeah, so this was about the lungs. I hope this is clear, students. And the lower side of the lungs, as I told you, that the lower base closely rests on the diaphragm. I hope now this is very much clear to all of you. और ये सारे जो आपका bronchi है, bronchus है, bronchiolus है, yes, the larynx, pharynx, all of them, they have an inner lining of ciliated epithelium. Just remember that also. Yes, why I am saying ciliated epithelium? That means it is having cilia. और ये cilia constantly move होता है, और मूव होने के कारण क्या करता है? It always sweeps the mucus and the dust particles on them. Okay, so that's why the larynx, pharynx, the bronchi, bronchioles, all of them, they are having ciliated epithelium which has a cilia on them. So this was the respiratory system. For the humans, if I say, we have discussed. very fast I am trying to give you a flow chart, because I always believe I like the teaching with a flow chart. So हम बहुत fast लिखेंगे. I don't have too much of space. मैं किस तरह से हम लोग ऐसे we are going to in this way. Okay, so if I start our respiratory system with nose, students देखो nose में start होता है, it is starting from the nostrils. Then we have seen that there are nasal chamber. Look, whenever you are learning or you are reading something, always it is suggested after the complete topic it is done, always go for a revision. और अभी जो हम कर रहे हैं we are revising instead of going with the theory. फिर से theory नहीं पढ़ रहे, हम लोग flow chart draw करके revise कर रहे हैं. Yeah, so you can also do this like after nasal chamber the air will pass into the pharynx, then it will go into the larynx. From the larynx it will enter the trachea. Am I right? Now there are so many branches. Yeah. So the trachea can be subdivided into left and right trachea. Yes, here there will be first primary bronchi. Here also primary bronchi. Yes, then it will more subdivided into secondary bronchi. This will also divide into secondary bronchi. Then it will be tertiary bronchi. मैं short form में लिख रही हूँ. You have to write in a full form. Okay, secondary and the tertiary. Now this tertiary bronchi, they will subdivide into bronchioles. This is on the both side. Yes, left side as well as right side. दोनों side में रहेगा. मैंने अभी एक साथ कर लिया. So don't think that the bronchioles will be only one. It is there in the both the lungs. What we are talking, it is for the both the lungs. Very sorry. Now ये bronchioles may be different parts and the students. The first part of the bronchiole is called as a terminal bronchiole. Remember this thing. Yes, after the terminal bronchiole, it will be subdivided. Yes, it will subdivide into respiratory bronchiole. क्यों respiratory bronchiole बोल रहे हैं? क्योंकि यहीं से आपका alveolar ducts बनेंगे and from there only the respiration takes place. Alveolar duct. From there will be alveolar sac, or you can say alveoli will be there. Yes, where the exchange of gases will take place. So this is what we called as our respiratory system. I hope now this is very much clear to all of you. यहाँ तक सभी को समझ में आया. In the next class we will discuss the mechanism of respiration. So I'll stop here, students. Again, if you like the class, you can tell your friends to subscribe the channel, and also you can download the app, that is Arth Academy app, where we can you can get the notes and you can get all the videos, the series of videos. There are so many other videos regarding the topic. You can get the notes, you can get the question answers, and you can have some test also. Yeah, so do download the app from the Play Store. It is ARTH, Arth Academy. The logo is also given. I am also sharing the link with you. Till then, thank you, students. Till we meet in the next class, keep learning. All the very best for your studies. And this is a link that I am sharing. You can download the app through this link also. You can, yes, share and subscribe and like the channel if you want. Till then, all of you, bye bye. Take care. See you soon. Bye.